Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. We're trying to get rolling here. I don't have a whole lot of time this morning. Let's see. Let's shift over to our space and time. And then I need to start two things up. One is the actual server for the application. I like to do that even though today is a unit test day. I like to have the application running because, if you do something that just breaks everything, that transpile will catch. I think the unit test one will too, but MTM run test. But what we're hoping for is first, it's kind of a four-step process. First step is to get the all the tests passing. I doubt they're all passing. I'm sure there's something failing now because the we moved a bunch of code from one place to other. I think the thing I moved code out of probably had tests in there, and all that. Then once we get all the tests passing, then it's or once we get it to, actually the first step is to get it to transpile. There's a good chance it won't transpile. The unit tests won't even build. And then after that, get them to all pass. And then after that, I guess just go up to a 100, get up to 100% code coverage. And then once we're there, once we have 100% code coverage, and as part of that, try to make absolute sure that like literally every single line of code makes sense in its context. So there's no like magic or anything there. And that is sort of like I try to do the same thing with my regular applications, or at work. I try. We don't have unit tests, but I do try to take like what I do during unit tests, which is I make sure every line of code makes sense on its own. So like you spend some time like sitting at 30,000 feet trying to imagine how everything should fit together and all that, but then you got to spend other times literally at the nuts and bolts level where you're just going end to end, or making sure that everything works. So you see that like this is looking for components to have like filters, and like the component doesn't have the filter, so we aren't building anything. So it looks like our first problem is in the imports of the data layout component spec. So let's click that. And it's saying, hey, that doesn't exist, and that makes sense because we moved it. And this thing doesn't even make use of it anymore, if I remember correctly. So we do that. That takes care of the very first one. Let's scroll down a little bit and see what the next problem is. Okay, so this is saying that here's on line 44, there's a toggle row call to a function called toggle row, but toggle row doesn't exist anymore. Now what is this? It says should toggle row. Well, we don't have any rows. So this test doesn't even matter anymore. Now we probably do need this exact test in another place. So I was gonna delete it, but actually I'm just gonna comment it out because I think we're gonna want to migrate this test over to the new thing. All right, so feel like we need to let the whole thing just sort of rebuild. It doesn't look like it's rebuilding, I don't think. So entity service spec is dying. Should transform the dictionary. It no longer has a dictionary. And I think all the transformations happen in this spec. Let's see, what is this one? Should set the table filter. We don't have a table filter. So just so you know, just for clarity, if you go here, oops. This is all of these two things got moved out, and so all of this stuff is for managing those, and they don't exist anymore. Sets the table filter based on the route. So we don't have a filter. We don't have a table. So we don't have a filter. And then let's see. Okay, we don't have anything that applies filters. It's 8:52, so I have a little bit of. Oh, I didn't give Rhett her. There you go. There's an almond for you, baby. Let's see. Filters based on the router value. Oh, don't care about that. Handles menu changes. Now, that sounds like something that might matter. Component menu changed. This one feels like it's for this. It feels like. But it says I don't have a menu changed. So let's see in here. We have a layout change, but not a menu changed. All right, so let's just go ahead and comment that out. Hopefully that whatever this was about becomes a little bit more obvious. I think we're gonna have to restart the unit tests again because it doesn't look like it's picking up anything. Now, normally there's like another window that pops up when things succeed, and then you can just refresh that window and it'll kick it off. Now, if you are, so today is May 18th, Monday, 2026. If you start a new Angular project today, your unit test probably won't look anything like this if you do choose to do unit tests. I'm not telling you you should do unit tests. I'm definitely not a unit test advocate. I would definitely say I am a, this surprises me. Um, I'm guessing I renamed this probably entity service. I probably didn't like the double service. Um, I'm definitely a end-to-end advocate for sure. There's no question about that. I definitely am a strong believer in end-to-end testing, and this was the first project I ever built end-to-end tests for, like just like started it and built end-to-end tests. And man, I love those things. Now I'm not doing it in the two projects I'm currently working, and that's because they make a lot of use of of the microphones, and the microphones like you can't control those with end-to-end tests, which is probably like a security thing, I would guess. All right, so it looks like it is passing now, and or it's compiling now. It's not passing. We'll see if it's passing. So step one is get it to compile. Step two will be to get it to pass all the existing tests. Okay, so we are passing all the existing tests. So step three is to get the to 100% code coverage. There's no way we're at 100% code coverage right now, but in here in this coverage folder, and like I said, I don't know how this works in a brand new Angular application. Because brand new Angular applications do not come with Karma Jasmine, which is what this is. They come with VITE, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'm not, like, I don't have a good reason for it. I'm just being mean. All right, so the other day we actually had 100% statements, but a missing branch in code, which was weird. But typically statements will work. All right, so we have a problem in app data. So just in all our things, all our new stuff has problems. We currently have 1,032 lines of code covered, statements covered, but we are not covering, like, it looks like 25 statements. 1,057 is not. We have 5 branches not covered. We have 7 functions not covered, and we have looks like 55 lines of code not covered. So statements and lines are the same. So that's that. And we got it passing. So that's the first step. So tomorrow we'll probably start. Oh, looks like here's another one. So this is our component. We'll probably start here and try to figure out what's going on with this branch. So this isn't getting called at all. And I think we actually do have a toggle row test. So it might make sense to copy the toggle row test over. This is apply filters is probably we probably already I think we have all the tests for all three of these already. So um so that'll be tomorrow we'll start that. So probably will take a couple days, probably till the end of the week to finish up these entity tables, and then we need to tweak. I think we need to tweak one, a couple of end-to-end tests to implement to to capture this, and that's that. Happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.